supporting local coastal communities in sustainably managing and utilizing the resources. So yeah, it began in 2010 with our Chief Technical Advisor, Lawrence Slade, and our CEO, Alithani. And it began actually in the mainland, then proceeded back to Zanzibar, but currently our headquarters in Unguja, Zanzibar. So I would just like to go through our vision, our mission and goals, and our geographical location. Lastly, I will proceed with our JS applications in our activities. So the organization vision currently is striving for coastal communities and seeing them they sustainably manage a healthy marine ecosystem in Tanzania and including Zanzibar. And also our mission is to maintain a healthy marine ecosystem through improved sustainable management of coastal resources, and also to try help coastal communities diversify their livelihoods. And by that, on the diversification, we as an organization, they said we support management of these resources, but also promote or enable local coastal communities in other livelihood activities, such as we have established a conservation eco-credit program known as Mkubwa Kutunza Bahari, which is compliant to marine conservation. So as an organization, we provide a certain amount of money where it circulates and helps in conservation of the marine resources. Our key goals is strengthen local marine resource governance institutions. So currently we work with local coastal communities and some of the local institutions in the mainland. We're working with the beach management units, and in Zanzibar we're working with the Shehia Fisheries Committee. So these are the local institutions that we're working with the community. So we try to strengthen their participation in governing these resources, and also increasing benefits for sustainable use of marine resources. And lastly, we try to support or influence policy, or say influence, but support policy and legislation that will incorporate local communities in management of these resources. Geographical locations, we have 3 offices, one located in Pemba, and the headquarters is located in Unguja, one located in Tanga, and we operate in these 3 areas. So for the GS application and data collection, we currently, as an organization, we have different activities, but we just go through the activities that actually apply GIS. One of the activities is participatory mapping. I'll go through it later and elaborate more about that. Then we have zonation. For zonation, after doing this participatory mapping, we need to demarcate the areas where they need to undergo specific management plans. So we need to use GIS to demarcate these areas and map these areas. Then second, we have the use of Survey 123 data collection, and then I think most of us who have been in the presentation before asked the question where we're using data collection in mangrove mapping in Zanzibar. Then we're also using interactive web maps to map the areas that we've worked on. And also we're using ArcGIS dashboard, though this is something that currently we're trying to tap into. We haven't really used dashboards, but it's something that we're looking forward to. And also we're doing marine patrol monitoring. So we're planning to use these dashboards to monitor these marine patrol activities. So yeah, we'll be using GIS in that. And also defining location or setting interventions. So our interventions or our activities that we'll be implementing in different communities, we are planning to establish a database or a dashboard that will be monitoring each activity that's taking place in real time. So that's something that yes, we are looking forward to if we would use real-time data updates to use that. So for participatory mapping, as I think the title itself is explanatory, meaning that as a GIS team, as I said, we're working with the community. So as you can see on those 2 pictures, it's a GIS team working with communities, trying to come up with a resource map. So what we do is just we guide these community members to try to sketch their resources based on their location. Then after that, this is done in a class session, just working with the community. Then after that, we head out to the field with that resource sketch map. Resource map sketched by the communities. We head out to the field with the GPS and pick up coordinates. That's where later we come up with such a resource map, as you can see. And also for zonation, so after successfully mapping the resources, there's an activity known as management planning, where our staff visit the communities of the resource mapping and plan the management measures of those resources that are mapped in the community. So after that management plan is done, then that's where we come up with the donation, which maps every area based on the resources that have been mapped. These areas shows specific management measures that are being carried out after being zoned in this area. So that's an example of donation map that we've done in Tendo. So for survey 123, currently we are doing a survey map of mangroves in Unguja and Pemba. And as you can see, I'm not sure if that's clearly seen, but the snapshot of the application, those are some of the questions that are comprised on the So this is the form that we have. So currently we're focusing on collecting zone information. So we're demarcating these areas into zones, ecological zones. Then we're using this form to collect information based on zones, and also we collect plots within this area. So as you can see, for zone information, we have various information such as species of mangroves, the dominant species and the existing species. Then for plots, so all these are just attribute information. For specific for GIS, on the sample plot boundaries, that's where we pick up boundaries and coordinates of those plots that we're establishing in these zones. So as I said, that's the zone information provided of the ecological zones of mangroves, species present, and the zone description. There may be historical information, which is attribute information. Then for sample plot, we have the plot boundary where we pick up those boundaries and all that information. We also measure the DBH, the diameter of stage, and that will be information that helps monitoring of our mangroves, and also the sample height, the stem count, and the photographs. So all this information is cut in a single form. Then after that, that is part of our survey 123. So the methodology of our survey, before conducting anything, we have a reconnaissance. A reconnaissance survey helps us to understand the ecological structure of the mangroves. So these mangroves grows in different species. So after doing the reconnaissance, we already have the picture and we pick up coordinates of different species within these areas. Then after that, we demarcate these areas based on the ecological zones that we've established. And later, we use the survey 123 as we expressed, as I explained to you on how we collect this data. So that shows some of the pictures of GIS team and community members doing that work. So I also attached a link . So this was targeting. I wanted to show you guys some of the interactive map that we made from this survey in ArcGIS Online. So as you've seen from different zones, these are the plots that we've done. And for each plot, in the interconnection as well. So as I said before, that we're initially establishing zones and picking up plots in these zones and sample plots of those zones. So using the survey 123 form, we will capture information such as the species and the beach and all the information that we explained. And also we could have attachments of various images, as you could see here. So yes, that's where I think data is very slow. So initially, all this information actually gives you the overview of the mangrove species. So this was just used as baseline information that would help us as an organization establish or implement our restoration measures in areas where mangroves have been degraded. So Survey 123 has helped us in collecting this data and also representing this data, just showing the patterns of areas where mangroves have been degraded that will help us in establishing these restoration measures. So after this survey, the main focus, as I said initially, that we are a community-based organization. So on our work, we try to engage the community members to understand the methodology of the survey and also try to train them on how to use survey to bring this in data collection. And because the goal at the end of the day is for these community members to be able to collect the data and also do some sort of analysis. So this is a good step going forward, whereas you can see some community members are taking their own measurements and also participating on the survey. So the goal is to have a spatial monitoring system for community restored mangrove areas. So from the data that we've collected in Survey 123, we've also applied that in areas where mangrove restoration has been practiced. So from that information, it would give us let's say, a number of acreage that has been restored by a certain community, which will contribute later in carbon credit calculations that can be used in the future. So briefly, I think that's how we apply GIS in our work. So next question, please.